Hi, I'm Marika Deswager, and I'm a registered midwife.
I'm Lauren Redman. I'm a student midwife in my final year.
And you're here at Pomegranate with us. This is our baby wall of fame. These are just a few of the babies that have been born with the help of midwives from Pomegranate. Midwives have been registered and legalized in the province of British Columbia since 1998. And we're paid completely covered through the Medical Services Plan or through MSP. And women can choose a midwife, a family physician, or an obstetrician for their birth. But midwives have a little bit of a different perspective around birth. We believe that birth is normal. We believe it's a natural part of the life cycle. And as long as you're healthy and low risk, you're the perfect candidate for being in midwifery care. We spend just as much time with you antenatally as your doctor would, except for that we have 45-minute visits at the clinic. And we also stay with you throughout your whole labor. You can choose to birth at home or at the hospital. We work at Burnaby Hospital, and we also work in Vancouver at BC Women's and St. Paul's. And we offer the choice of home or hospital birth. And then postpartum, we're always going to see you at home. So we'll see you at home for the first couple of weeks, make sure everything's going well with your baby, with you, for breastfeeding and everything. And then we care for you up until about 6 or 8 weeks postpartum, and then that's when we would transfer you back to the care of your family doctor. So midwives are essentially specialists in normal, healthy, low-risk pregnancies and birth. And we really serve a population of people who just view pregnancy as well in that way. We can order all your ultrasounds, we can order all your blood work, we can, if there is a complication that comes up, we have really good working relationships with the obstetricians and pediatricians in town, and we can refer you and or your baby if need be. But generally, most of our clients see mostly just their midwives through their whole pregnancy and through their birth and postpartum, and then they go back to the care of their family doctor afterwards.
Okay. My name is Dina Klishinsky.
My name is Chris Belcourt.
This is our daughter, Stella Belcourt. I chose to go with a midwife because I truly believe in pregnancy and birth being a natural process, and they offer holistic, empowering care. Really walk with you on your journey.
Very helpful, very kind, good resource.
Yeah, so I'd like to talk a little bit about why I became a midwife. I was looking to do something in the service profession. I thought about social work and a few other career choices. And then I started attending births, and I think this is a common story of a lot of midwives. They start attending births and they realize how magical and how powerful it is and how strong women are. And then they just can't stop going. So that's what happened to me. I just realized that it was really an opportunity to empower women and to get women interested in their own health and in their own care. I also really love that at Pomegranate we serve a very diverse population. Traditionally, midwives have kind of been accessed only by a certain class and population, often white middle-class women, and I feel like at Pomegranate we've kind of started to change that a little bit. I'm Métis from my background, and I'm passionate about serving Aboriginal women. We also serve a lot of immigrant women and a lot of different clientele, so I think that's one of the special things about this clinic as well, and about the team that I work with. Yeah.
There's about 200 midwives in the province of British Columbia, but that's not nearly enough to service all the women that want midwives. So the majority of us are actually in Vancouver. There's about 50 in Vancouver. But that means that there's still, some people can't get a midwife in Vancouver still because there's just not enough here, even in the urban areas. And in the rural and remote areas, it's a much more dire situation. People sometimes travel up to 3 or 4 hours to see their midwife. I did a practicum when I was a student in Prince George, and people would come from 3 or 4 hours away just to have a midwife. And lots of women have to leave their communities, especially in the Aboriginal communities, have to leave their communities and be away from their families to have their babies. And midwives could really fill that gap. If we could get midwives into these rural and remote communities, they could do that service for those communities and bring birth closer to home, which is, I think, really important and one of our big goals in our push to increase access to midwifery care for all women. There's 20 spots at the University of British Columbia every year. 2 are reserved for Aboriginal students. But 20 spots is nothing compared to the numbers that go into medical school every year. So it's one of the things that we've definitely improvement. It's gone to 20 in the last 2 years. It used to be 10 when I went to school, but it's still the only place that you can actually train to be a registered midwife in British Columbia. So we need to move forward and increase the opportunities for internationally trained midwives to have their certification acknowledged here in British Columbia. We need to look at Aboriginal midwives that are trained in their own communities and what that means for their communities. and we need to increase the access to education for more women who might want to become midwives.